Hello, and welcome back to Rock and Country Devotionals, where each week we take a popular song of the last 50 years or so, and we draw out a spiritual message from some of the lyrics. My name is Charlton Wiggins, and this week's devotional was a bit of a challenge, literally. I was presented with a challenge that I couldn't create a spiritual devotional for Rock and Country Devotionals based on the ACDC hit song Highway to Hell. Now, I don't personally care for ACDC's music, mainly because every song sounds like the last one. Be that as it may, challenge accepted. Almost everyone has heard ACDC's Highway to Hell. It's loud, rebellious, and it celebrates a life without rules or restraint. No stop signs, no limits. That's the anthem of someone living on their own terms. It sounds powerful, sounds free, but when you stop and think, it's really describing something Jesus warned us about, that broad road that feels easy at first, but leads to destruction. In Matthew 7, verses 13 through 14, Jesus said, "Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life." In other words, the highway may look fun. It's fast, it's crowded, and no one's telling you to slow down. But spiritually speaking, the wide road is full of shortcuts, false promises, and empty thrills. It's a path away from God, not toward it. Let's be honest, sometimes that highway looks tempting, looks pretty good. It promises that freedom, but freedom without truth is just another kind of slavery. You might be driving fast, but you're headed in the wrong direction. The world calls rebellion strength, but God calls surrender victory. The world says, follow your heart. Scripture says, your heart is deceitful above all things. Jeremiah 17, verse 9. Only when we hand the steering wheel over to Christ do we start moving toward real life, real peace, real freedom. Think about how roads are built. Highways are wide and straight. You can go fast, but you lose touch with the scenery. Narrow roads take more attention. They're slower, but they often lead to places more beautiful and more meaningful. That's what following Jesus is like. It takes focus, it takes discipline, but it leads to life that lasts. Maybe right now you feel like you've been on your own highway, going fast, living for yourself, or maybe just drifting. The good news, you don't have to stay on that road. God specializes in U-turns. Through Jesus, there's always an exit that leads back to grace. In John 14, verse 6, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Notice he didn't just offer directions. He is the road. So today I want to leave you with this. This world's greatest deception is that the highway to hell looks good until it's too late. But the road Jesus offers, it's narrow, but it's lined with mercy. It's not always easy, but it leads home. Choose the narrow road because the one waiting at the end of it loves you enough to have already walked it himself. Hope you enjoyed this short devotional. And if you want to see the lyrics, we got a link in the description down below to a webpage that has those lyrics listed. If you want to view ACDC's video for it, you can do that too. I feel a little guilty putting it on there because I don't really care for them, but be that as it may, it's there. and just link to it down below in the description. We hope you enjoyed this, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week when we have a whole new Rock and Country Devotional.